Hello and welcome. I'm so excited this week. We are bringing you a brand new episode all about falconry in Elizabethan England. During Shakespeare's lifetime, falconry and hawking, as it was also known if you used a hawk instead of a falcon to go hunting with, was very popular. There are numerous woodcuts showing Elizabeth I participating in hawking, and it was a sport that was a lot like golf is today. It was on the more elite side of sports, and it was often used for business professionals who would gather together for the purpose of networking and talking and handling your business while you were participating in this sport. It was very communal, and you'll notice in the woodcuts of Elizabeth I, there's often a lot of people there with her helping this sport take place. And to help you understand exactly how this sport worked and where Shakespeare got a lot of the terms in his plays that are related to this sport, like hoodwinked or wrapped around your little finger, we wanted to take you inside the actual sport itself and show you how it works. So today we're going out to meet with the Alabama Hawking Association to introduce you to the sport of falconry as it would have been done in Shakespeare's lifetime. You're going to get to meet some hawks that are available and trained athletes in this particular sport. And we will also show you some of the gear and techniques that they use and explain where they come from in Shakespeare's lifetime. Stay tuned afterwards. I'll be back with some bonus material for you you can use to take this episode into your classroom. But for now, let's go meet the hawks.
Hi, I'm Sherry Rettig. I'm with the Alabama Hawking Association, and this is my juvenile red-tailed hawk, Miss Kitty.
Wow, hi. Now you mentioned that she was recently trapped.
Yes.
Can you explain to me how do y'all get the birds?
When we're going to trap a new bird, first of all, we can only trap a juvenile, which means that they're less than a year old and they have brown striped tail rather than a red tail.
Okay.
Because they molt once a year, and at their first molt, they grow in their red tail feathers.
Okay.
But we have a special trap that we use, and basically we get up early, ride around, and look for a juvenile that might be sitting on a telephone pole or in a tree. And when we see one on the side of the road, we've got little gerbils or little mice inside this trap, and we toss it out on the road. Well, they'll come down to the trap, and the trap is covered with slip nooses. And so when they go down to try to get those gerbils, their toes get hung up in those slip nooses.
Okay.
And they get hung up on the trap. So then we go and get them off and get all their equipment on them and everything. As long as it's
I would
juvenile.
assume a wild bird has to be trained how to wear the hat
Yes.
she's got on, for
Yes,
example.
that is correct.
Okay. How long does that take?
Well, it all depends on the bird. You start doing hood training the first day. As a matter of fact, when you get them off the trap, you put a hood on them because the hood covers their eyes, makes it like it's dark, nighttime, and so that calms them down.
Okay.
So we put that on there, and then we can, wrap their feet
Safer
up
for
tight,
everybody.
to keep their claws out of their talons, and then we can put the anklets and all of that stuff on them.
Those massive talons.
Yes, those are.
Okay.
Sorry about that. That's part of it.
That's just being a...
And so the manning process, that's the process of actually, we never actually tame them, but we do get them to trust us and learn how to work with us. So that process is called manning.
Okay.
The hood, you just put it on and off as much as possible, and
they just learn.
Just learn. Some of them like it better than others, or learn to wear them. We never. Some people don't even use a hood, but it does help if you're in a situation where you want them to be calm and not get all excited about everything.
How do you get them to come back? Like, I assume hunting with a falcon involves letting them go, but how do they know to come back to you?
Well, that's all part of the training process, and everything that they do is driven by their desire to eat. So when we first trap a bird, we weigh her, feel their keel to see how fat they are, if they've been eating a lot or if they're maybe it's been a while since they've had something to eat. You can tell by the fat that's around their keel. So we do that, and then we just let their kind of start lowering their weight until they're hungry enough to take food from, say, either our fingers, or we use wooden chopsticks. They'll take little pieces of meat.
Okay, so
and
they
then,
associate you with where they eat.
That absolutely, and it takes some go do it a lot more quickly. Others take a little longer, just depending on how full they already are. If they're already well fed, they may take a little bit longer to want to eat from us. So then it's a process. Once they start eating from the chopsticks, then we'll kind of lower it down until they're eating off the glove. Okay. And then we put them on a perch and let them hop to the glove. Okay. And then once they do that, it's a gradual.
The glove is where we eat.
That's right. Okay. And so then we move outside and put them. We have a zip line in our yard, and we fly them from a perch to the glove, or glove to glove if both of us are out there.
Oh, wow.
And we'll fly them for little tidbits. And once you kind of learn when their weight is dropped enough that they're just ready and not hesitant and not looking all around, they just come right to you immediately. Then you know that they're ready to let go.
It's okay to take somewhere less control.
Yes, and then we'll let them go and fly through the yard with nothing on them, and they follow as we walk through the yard. They just kind of follow from tree to tree.
Now, in Shakespeare's lifetime for the 16th century, falconry was a huge sport. Mm-hmm. But I don't think many people understand the sporting part of it. Like, why is it a sport? Is it competition, or is it hunting, like hunting deer, where mm-hmm. you're gathering food? And how does that work? Is the hawk getting the food for you that you're going to eat, or is it some other dynamic that makes it a sport?
Well, while some things in falconry have remained the same over the centuries that it has been in play, a lot of things have changed. Of course, back before they had firearms, this was a way for people to put food on the table. Most of the time when you're reading about European falconry, Asian falconry, they're using actual falcons, which would take their prey is game birds like pheasant or quail or ducks, that sort of thing. They could use those to actually put food on their table, and that was a very popular way to do that. Today, it is more for sport, just being able to work with a bird of prey, watch it in its natural habitat, and help it.
There's certainly a lot of skill involved.
Yeah. Well, she's got all the skill. We just run around and flush game for her, because here in the South, our terrain is not as conducive to ducks and upland game birds as you might find out west. You'll find that pretty much everyone here flies hawks instead of actual falcons.
Now, is she a Harris hawk?
No, she is. She's a red-tailed hawk.
Okay.
In Alabama, when we're starting out, you can have, as an apprentice, you can have a red-tailed hawk or a red-shouldered hawk, and you have to trap one yourself from the wild. So they're native here. Okay. A Harris hawk, you have to be a general falconer or higher, and you would actually get them because they're in the southwest part of the United States. Mm-hmm. They're native out there, so you would buy one from a breeder. So
what kind of bird you use depends on what's native to where you are.
Correct, because that's one of the things with falconry. It's not just having a bird of prey as a pet. Okay. Falconry is hunting, and it does involve killing game. And if you're not willing or ready to do that, then you don't need to be a falconer.
That's not the right sport.
That's right. You can become a rehabber and maybe help them if they get sick. But if you're going to be a falconer, you do have to hunt with the birds. Okay. And you have to take into consideration what their game is. Okay. Hawks are including Harris hawks, because we know several people that have them, small rodents, rabbits, and squirrels. Okay. And in Alabama, in the South in general, there are a lot more squirrels than there are rabbits. So that's her primary target.
Okay.
Is a squirrel.
So she's ideal for the area that she's in.
Yes,
so,
that's right. Okay. And even though naturally they're not going to go after a squirrel unless it's on the ground, through falconry, they learned that they can chase them in the trees and catch them in what would normally not be something that she would do naturally, just because it expends so much energy.
Okay.
But they do learn, and that just gives them one more weapon in their arsenal, so to speak, so that if we release her back into the wild, she's got that much better chance of survival.
Well, okay, so in Shakespeare's plays, there are several terms that I know come from falconry, but we're so far removed from the sport today. I would like to ask you about these terms and get you to tell our audience about where they come from.
Okay.
So the first one is fed up.
Okay.
We know this is a falconry term, but how does that apply to the sport?
Okay. Well, as I said, when we're preparing them to hunt, we drop their weight because everything is motivated by their hunger. And while they're not starving, their weight gets low enough that they respond to what we want them to do. And then as they gain weight during the molt, if we keep them through the molt, we'll raise their weight. And they're less responsive to us because they don't need us anymore. Sometimes even during hunting season, we will feed them up, which means we let them eat as much as they can until their crop is full. It's called cropped up or fed up. And so that means that they have had all that they can take. You know,
that's why we use that
That's right.
expression.
They've eaten as much as they can stand. They've had all that they can take. And so that's why we use that expression.
So the next one I feel like has to do with this leather strap you've got going here. Yes. Because it's under your thumb.
Right.
So if you have something under your thumb, what does that mean?
Right. Okay. Well, when you have a bird on your glove, these are called jesses, and the proper way to hold a bird while it's on your glove is to take their jesses and put them under your thumb, and then you have control. You saw how she was baiting and flapping and trying to get away, but she can't because I have her under my thumb. I have her jesses under my thumb. Which also leads to the other one when it's wrapped around your little finger.
Yes.
Okay, so you see the jesses come down, and that's where you hold them. If they're longer, you can actually wrap it on the finger. But that's just the way that you hold a bird on your glove, under your thumb and wrapped around your finger.
Your little finger. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
What about hoodwinked?
Okay, well, when we put a hood over her, we're tricking her into thinking it's nighttime.
Okay.
So at night, they don't see very well, so they're going to go, unlike an owl, which a great horned owl is one of their biggest predators. So at night, they'll get into a tree, they'll tuck their head up under their wing, and they'll go to sleep and hold as still as possible. So we have tricked them, you know, putting this hood over their eyes, and they think it's nighttime, and so they'll calm down, and they don't try to get away as much as they would if they were looking at their surroundings.
So that's why hoodwinked means to trick someone. Because
that's right.
It comes from tricking the falcon.
With a hood.
So the last one is haggard, and I have no idea about this one.
Well, you have two types of birds in the wild. You have a passage bird, which means it's a juvenile. It's less than a year old, and it's on its first passage of migration. Even though here red-tailed hawks don't migrate, they're living here year-round. Falcons and that sort of thing do migrate, and some hawks do. So a passage bird is one that is on its first passage of migration. If it's an adult, it's a haggard, and that just means that it is wild and an adult, and it has been around a lot longer. Now, how it has made the transition into meaning, you know, the way that we mean it today, the only thing I can figure is that a haggard bird is fully established in the wild, and we don't trap them because they're too hard to manage. You know, they're in the breeding population. We leave them in the wild, but they're not easily manned. Okay. So I guess haggard, difficult. That's right. And
old, set in their ways.
That's exactly right.
Not going to be something we could use. Well, before I let you go here, I have to ask about the bells on her feet. What are these doing for you?
Well, a bird of prey is extremely quiet when it flies. You can't hear it going through the trees at all. It can come up on its prey and you would never even know.
Wow.
So the bells allow us to hear her when she's flying through the trees, especially at this time of the year while there's still a lot of leaves on the trees. She's hard to see. They blend in very well. So the bells just help us find her once she's up there, because sometimes they'll take off, and if they see something they want to chase after, she'll go, and the bells just strictly help us hear where she is.
So that's a look at an actual hawk and a professional hawking sportsman on how these terms from Shakespeare's plays apply to the sport. And now you know what they mean. So when you see them in his plays or on stage, you'll know, oh, I know what they're talking about now. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you'll be notified when the Falconry episode lands next week and you can see that. Or if it's already live, there'll be a link somewhere on the screen or definitely below the video so you can go directly to that and watch that. And of course, as a member of That Shakespeare Live, you get access to all of this content right in one place. So check out CassidyCash.com/member to see all the videos and the bonus content not available anywhere else. Thank you for watching. I'm Cassidy Cash. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.